Hey guys, I'm Nicole and welcome to my channel. Today I'm doing a little bit of work out in my garden area and I wanted to just bring you guys along and show you what's going on over here. This is actually not officially my garden area. Let me take that back. This belongs to my daughter Morgan, but she's kind of decided that she's not really wanting to grow a whole lot this year, and I really wanted to start tidying it up a little bit because, well, let me see, let me turn around. There's my house right there, and so like outside of our window, our kitchen window, you can see this area very well, and it needed a little bit of tidying up. The weeds had started to really grow into it, and so what I'm doing is I am getting cardboard and I'm going to lay it down on all around the garden beds on the edges, and that way hopefully it'll help suppress the weeds. I asked my son to please weed eat for me yesterday and he did a really good job. And then like also back here, let me see if I can kind of show you. Back here, I'm probably gonna put some cardboard down as well. And I don't know, right here behind our house, there is a drop off. You can't really tell, but there is a good sized drop off right here. And I don't know, it probably goes down maybe 15 feet, really. I mean, it's a little bit of a slope, but it's basically a drop off. And so my hope is for one day for us to build a fence back here to kind of just, you know, keep us safe. But I mean, there's so much growth and like little trees and shrubs right here. I don't think you could just fall down the whole thing. I mean, I guess you could if you were really not being careful, but I don't really worry about the kids falling down it. I don't let my little kids out here alone or anything like that. But I think it would be nice to have a fence and then to also have just some pretty like shade growing things back here, and maybe a little bench or something like that. And so that's my plan. But for right now, I'm just going to start laying down the cardboard. There's the building that my husband and sons built a year or two ago, and then right there is another concrete pad. It's really funny because when we moved here, there were these two concrete pads. I think they were for like a dog kennel or something like that. It's what the previous owner used them for. But we really didn't want to use them for that purpose. And so my husband built a building on one of them, which has been great. And then on the other one, right now we just have some bikes parked there, but I think I might ask him to build like just a covered shelter area for the bikes and for our lawnmower and things like that. We thought our lawnmower would fit in that building, but it really doesn't. It's just surprising. We have lots of animal feed and stuff like that in the building, and our lawnmower doesn't fit in there. And for us to finish the basement one day, we need to have space for a lawnmower outside of the basement. But anyhow, so what I'm going to do, or what I'm doing, is just along these walkways, I'm starting to lay down this cardboard. And I have like a huge stack of cardboard that I've been saving for things like this. And I try to layer it. Sometimes I put a couple of layers on top of each other whenever I am stacking it up. That way it's harder for the weeds to get through it, and it's free because I get so many packages. I'm terrible about buying stuff on Amazon. I'm always purchasing things from Amazon, and so I always have cardboard, and even like things like diaper boxes, stuff like that. I use that, and it really does a good job smothering weeds. Now after a year or so, it starts to break down and you'll need to add something different. I'm having a bit of a problem up in my raised bed garden right now because it is I don't know, I put down like a weed fabric, a really thick, good weed barrier there, and then I put mulch over it. I think that's what my problem was, because the mulch, when it breaks down, it actually starts to turn into dirt. And now there's all these weeds growing on top of the weed fabric. It's like there's a layer of weed fabric, and then there's a layer of dirt from all the mulch that has decomposed, and then there's a layer of weeds. And so that's kind of discouraging. I've been getting as many weeds out as I can, and actually even trying to get some of the dirt out as I can. And yeah, yesterday, actually, my husband and we worked a little bit on putting some pine straw in the areas and the walkways in my raised bed garden. And I'll try to show you guys that too on this video. But for now, I'm going to be laying down this cardboard and in these few raised beds. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. I think my daughter does want to plant a few herbs, but other than that, I think I might try to do just some flowers. It's kind of like semi-shade back here. We did cut back a couple of limbs to get a little bit more sunlight in the area, but it's still kind of semi-shaded. So I'll just have to see what will grow. I know she did grow some sunflowers and stuff here last year. So I might try that. I might just put some sunflower seeds in here and see how they do. We'll just have to see. It seems to have a good bit of water runoff back here, so I wouldn't have to really worry about watering too much. And I just want something kind of low maintenance, but that, you know, when I'm looking out my window, my kitchen window, you know, it looks a little nicer. And one day, Lord willing, we'll try to just get all this grass in this area, like maybe cover it up and put pebbles and have more landscaping back here. So I guess just little by little, that's kind of what I have in mind. Okay, so I think I got everything done that I'm going to do today. It looks pretty good, I think. I'm going to have to do possibly another layer of the cardboard, in some places at least. It's kind of thin, and some of this cardboard has been sitting outside for probably about a year, and it's just kind of, you know, worn down, I guess you could say. So yeah, it's still, I don't know, there's remnants of my daughter's old garden, just different things she had out here. I came out here yesterday and I weeded these beds right here, these 3 beds. They were just covered in weeds, and I'm thinking I might actually just take, like right here, there's some thyme, and there's some type of peppermint or something like that. I might get those and just put them in the beds instead of worrying about sunflowers, but we'll just have to see what I end up doing. There is still tape and stuff on this cardboard, but since this is just a walkway, I'm not too worried about it. And yeah, so I think it'll work just fine. Right here, you can't really tell, but it's like a mound of dirt right here. So I'm gonna have to like dig it out, or most likely I'll ask my sons or husband to dig it out, so it could be more flat, and then, you know, continue on. Like I'm on top of a little hill right now, and then continue it on, and then over there I'd like to do the same thing and just get the weed pressure gone, because you see all these well, a lot of them are wild blackberries. I don't know if you can tell right back there, but there's so much weed pressure right here, and it just, I mean, our whole yard, all our land, we have 5 acres here, and it was just like that whenever we moved in. And there's vines like creeping all over everything. There's poison ivy, and it's just little by little we're trying to tame it down and make it more usable. And also I really like to add in natives and stuff like that. Lord willing, this weekend we're actually going to go to a native plant nursery so I can get a few more of those things to put in a couple of areas in our yard. But yeah, so that's what I've done this afternoon for a little while. I mean, it probably took me 30 or 45 minutes to get this done, and I'll be layering a little bit more, and then probably we'll be putting pine straw in these areas because it's pretty inexpensive, and the you know, weeds won't grow in it so much like when mulch breaks down. Now I would like to show y'all a little bit of what we got done in my raised bed garden yesterday as well. So all of this area looked like this yesterday, I guess you can say. Some of this landscape fabric just shining through, as well as this mulch. And I don't know if you can tell, but I'm like right in the way of this, but there's so many weeds growing, and then it's turned into dirt. All of this mulch is turned into dirt. And so weeds love to grow in this, right? It's dirt. And so what we are doing right now is we're going back through, and I'm using my my hoe, and I'm getting all the weeds up, and then we're coming back through with pine straw because I think that it will not grow as many weeds, Lord willing. And we just got a little bit done. We had, I think, 4 bales left over from some landscaping we were doing in another area of our property, and I just wanted to lay it down and see what it looked like, and I think it's gonna be good. One day, I mean, maybe like a decade from now type one day, I'd like to have all of this be like pea gravel or something like that. But for now, this will work, and this looks good, and I'm really happy with it. We still have a long way to go, but some of my things in my garden are looking nice. I'm so happy about it. The lettuce is doing good, the strawberries, and my onions over here, they're looking great. And so I'll probably will do a little bit more of a garden tour with you guys sometime before too terribly long. This lettuce, it was from last fall and it's just starting to go to seed, but I need to cut this down. But the ones over here are looking well. This is just a gourmet lettuce blend. I think it's like Burpee brand. It's one of my favorites and I use that, or I try to grow that every year. Now let me show you this hoe that I use to get all of my weeds up. This thing is awesome. I don't even know what the right name of it is. But it looks like this, and it just kind of cuts underneath them, and it works really, really good for me. So I really like to use this when I'm in my garden and I need to weed. It really does a good job. So thank you guys for hanging out with me today for a little bit while I'm doing some cleanup work in my garden. This is just something I'm trying to do like for an hour or so every day that I can, just to stay on top of things. So yeah, it just doesn't become overwhelming, because garden work for me can easily become very overwhelming, and I'm trying to garden a pretty large space here. I've just little by little, we've done a little bit each year. We've been here 3 years, the end of the month, but just little by little. Let me try to get out of the sun. We are trying to put in new gardens, and this year kind of the same thing. I've tried to expand some of our perennial garden, and then, you know, down what I was doing today, that's something that my daughter has been working on for a few years now, but you know, she's just, this year she doesn't really want to mess with it, which I understand. You have some years you don't really want to be doing that, and sometimes you outgrow it. This might be something that she really liked doing for a little while in her life, but then, you know, have different interests. You know, as a 17-year-old girl, I mean, that's absolutely a possibility and absolutely fine too. So yeah, but it's been so fun. I love it. I love being out in my yard. It's just, I don't know, it's therapeutic for me and I really enjoy it. So thank you guys for hanging out with me today, and I will talk to you soon.